know who I am. I'm Karen Stacy. I have my own talk show. You can come to my talk show anytime. We have Coffee Talk with Karen every weekday at 11 a.m. And we have Real Talk with Karen Stacy every Tuesday at 8 p.m. It's not your mama's talk show. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. And let's have some fun, baby. You can find us on all social media platforms. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, and on MiamiMikeRadio.com. Testing. Is this mic working? You better believe it is. I'll see you guys soon. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Karen.
Hi, Angelo.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for tuning in to Real Talk with Karen Stacy. We are live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. We are live on Facebook on the Karen Stacy page, the public page. We are live on the Real Talk Coffee Talk group. We are live on the Karen Stacy personal page. And if you're on the personal page, I may not be able to see your names, so you should jump on the other page. We're also live on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. So if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Real Talk Karen Stacy. And tonight, I have with me Angelo Michelli, whose name I say correctly now because he taught me how to say it. And I just want to say thank you for everybody for tuning in. I want to ask you guys if you could do us a huge favor and share out the video, because sharing is caring. And we want as many people as possible to be able to be part of our conversation this evening. So Angelo, you can share it out too from your end so that all of your peeps are with us. And I will have to say that, so, Angelo is a sweetheart. And, when he was on the show, I want to say it was about a month ago, Ange?
Oh, yeah, I'd say close to a month ago.
Something like that. And, he was just a sweetheart. And, he contacted me and said, I'd love to do another show. And I said, all right, what do you want to talk about? And he, so he thought about it and then got back to me on it. And, especially when somebody comes on the show more than once, I always kind of like to, the first time he came on, everybody got to know him a little bit, his background, who he is, where he's from. And of course, when he starts talking, he'll give you a really quick reminder in case anybody missed it. But then I like to kind of open it up and go, all right, if you're coming back on, we got to make it good. So like, what do you want to talk about? And, so, no pressure. I just, made him come up with it. No. So we are, his idea was he wanted to talk about, here goes the air quotations, right? Cancel culture. So this is something that we're going to touch upon this evening, canceling culture, and, to give you a good look into the way of behaving in society or a group, especially on social media, in which it's common to completely reject and stop supporting someone because they have said or done something that offends you or offends others, and just how this relates to life, work, music, and all of these different things. So that's like loaded. There's a lot in there. But in this day and age where everyone is offended by every motherfucking things, it's crazy, right? So, Angelo, do me a favor. Just remind everybody that's tuned in right now who the fuck you are.
Okay, so I am Angelo Michelli. I am the CEO of CFMAM Productions. I'm also the CEO of CFMAM Radio. We have our own radio station, and I'm a co-host for the Freestyle Spotlight Countdown at Extreme Mix Radio. So that is exactly who I am on social media. Off of social media, just a very open-minded, very diverse Italian who's probably considered a mama's boy. I do love my mom. Spent a lot of time with my mom. I'm openly gay, both on social media and in my life. And I try to stay as positive as I can. And that's why I wanted to talk about cancel culture, because it just seems like everything we do today is being judged. And it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary, but it's something that needs to be talked about. And it happens in the work environment. It happens in music. It happens in social media. It happens within your family. There's no more or no less pressure as an adult as there is a child in society today, and it's really, really ugly. It's really, really ugly, and I'm trying to figure out, because even myself, I want to talk about this, but I still need to learn a lot about what are the real values, and who's benefiting from this actual canceled culture. Because I don't know about you, Karen, but I don't know, as a 7 or 8-year-old kid when I was growing up reading Dr. Seuss, that some of these things were racist. I didn't give a shit.
You know what?
I mean, like, it's just ridiculous.
Let me tell you something about that. I talked about that on the show. I don't know. I think you tuned in that morning.
Yes.
And I posted something the next day, and I was flagged on Instagram, and I was flagged on Facebook. And what was interesting was I posted it, and some people, and some of them were members of my family, were, please don't use that language. You are the reason why these problems are here. There were racist remarks. There were things that made people think a certain way, which meant they weren't right and they shouldn't be there, yada, yada. So I have multiple feelings about it, but one of the feelings I have about it, and I did talk about this on the show, was this is when we as parents have those teaching moments.
Yes.
So my son will read something and go, "Ma, I don't understand what this means." And I will say, "Well, honey, this is what I think that means." Or, "This is what that's saying. You don't have to feel that way." Or, "I don't really this is what it's saying, but we don't live like that. This is how we live our life." Or, let's look at things this way. So, I mean, I get that there's, but what the fuck, man? It's freedom of speech. And I mean, I am the most, and I said this that morning, I am the most non-racial, prejudiced person you could ever meet in your whole life. As I said, my parents adopted a Puerto Rican, my brother was Puerto Rican. There are my nephews are half black. I mean, I grew up with, all Spanish people, all Italian people, all that. I don't look at nobody by the color of their skin, their nationality, what religion they practice. I don't care about all of those things. What I do care about, and what I am extremely prejudiced over, is judgmental, nasty, people that are prejudiced.
Yes.
I'm prejudiced against stupidity. And if you're stupid, I'm fucking prejudiced against you. I'll say it right off the bat. Everybody mark it down on your calendar that I said something offensive, because Karen Stacy is prejudiced. And this does not reflect on Miami Mike Radio. Okay. I am prejudiced against stupid fucking people. I'm prejudiced against freaking idiots. That's what I'm prejudiced against. And I don't care what color they are. I don't care what God they fucking pray to. I don't care. So people that carry that around, and now we got the books, now we got this fucking potato head thing. We got all these things going on, and like everybody is like, like up in arms over it. Like,
There's
really?
some crazy shit. There is a lot of crazy shit.
Is
Some
it me?
I'll throw a couple at you that I've seen in social media that has really really made me laugh.
Okay.
One is Coca-Cola has asked their employees to be less white.
Less white.
Did you hear about that?
I saw something about that, which I'm not sure if somebody could. Do you know how to be less white?
I really don't. And
So,
as a
isn't that
white person,
prejudice? Isn't
and as
that
a white
prejudice?
yeah, and as a white person, if you try to act like somebody that you're not, then you're considered something completely different. So I don't know what acting white really means. But another one is apparently white girls are not allowed to wear hoop earrings anymore because it sends off a racist. Yes, I just saw that today.
I saw something stupid about that, but I didn't even read it. I can't see. This is what happens to me. Like I see, like remember, Charlie Brown, remember the teacher? Wah,
Yes.
wah, 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 wah.
Yes.
After a while,
Yes.
this bullshit, I'm like, wah, 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 wah. What? Or like South Park. What? Like, I mean, are you kidding me? Like,
Oh,
what's the earrings thing now? Please break it down for me because I just didn't have the head to do it. What the hell happened with the earrings?
apparently it's not cool for white girls to wear hoops as earrings anymore because it sends a negative vibe towards black culture.
Why?
I don't know. Did black women invent hoops? Were they the first one to wear a big hoop earring? I don't know. I don't know. So Janet Jackson wore a key on her ear as one of her earrings. So is a white girl not able to wear a key on her ear because then she's, making fun of black culture? I really don't understand it. And that's why I wanted to talk about it today, because I know it exists in my world, especially on social media with music. We can get to that a little bit later. But, I've seen it in work, and it happened with me. People just they want to read a cover. They want to see a cover, and they want to, to assume what that cover is before they actually open the book and start to read the pages. You know what I mean? And when you're in that social environment, yes. And you know what? There's a lot of people that, are afraid to open that book and let people read the pages that are inside because of social pressure. And it happened to me. I remember when I was in my late 20s, I was working in a job structure where, I had a lot of young 16, 15, 16, 17-year-old boys that were working in my department in a grocery store. And my boss knew that I was gay, yet I couldn't announce it to anybody in the store because he felt that he would lose employees because if a 16-year-old kid, exactly, something's gonna happen, or am I gonna allow my 16-year-old son to be around a gay man, when he's at work? So it happened to me, and I can see the negativity that's based around it, so there is pressure in social circles that you have to be really, really cautious about. But again, I'm trying to figure out who is this benefiting. Because just say you had a 12-year-old daughter, okay?
I have a 12-year-old son.
Okay, so you have a 12-year-old son. Whatever he's in, like if he's into action figures or if he's into comic books, is he really coming to you at any point and saying, Mom, why is this character brown? Or why is this character white?
No.
And why does he say this and that person says that? And that's how it was for me growing up as a kid. I didn't know that Dr. Seuss had two monkeys that were holding a beam that people would consider to be fictionary characters of African Americans. Like, I don't understand that. I don't get it. I don't see black and I don't see white. I just see people.
So this is my opinion on that. The more people continue to see it this way, the more division we're creating. So if you don't look at it that way, right? If you look at, so let's say a picture, right? Let's say I paint a picture. And I know that I smudged it in a certain spot. But when you look at the picture, you don't see that smudge. No. I see it because I knew the smudge was there. And now you don't see it. And then all of a sudden I go to you, Ange, you see right there? I smudged right there. Now you can't help. Now the whole time you look at that picture, all you're going to see is the smudge.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So that is what's happening, is like, if we keep pointing out the smudge, then that's all people are going to see. So they say, if you give it power, once you give it attention, you give it power. So in my home, that's not how we do things.
Yes.
And I will separate things from certain, even just, look, it's natural. We have different cultures. People live in different neighborhoods. It's all across the board. And just because someone is a certain color doesn't put them in a geographical area per se, doesn't put them in a financial, economic area per se. So that's my thing, is everything should be across the board. And so to me, when you start dividing all of these things, you are begetting the prejudice.
Exactly.
And you're feeding more into it. So now what are we talking about? We're talking about fucking hoop earrings. We're talking about a Mr. Potato Head that's going to have a fucking a hole, a dot, a hole and a square, a circle and a fucking square. I don't know what the hell it's going to have. We're going to have books that we all grew up with that we are no longer going to be in existence. Somebody just wrote here, Pepe Le Pew was killed today. Now Pepe Le Pew is a racist.
No, he's Italian.
A rapist, excuse me, a rapist.
Yes, an Italian.
Although Pepe Le Pew is black with a white stripe, so maybe he is racist.
Well, he's Italian, so I don't know. He was
black with a white stripe and Italian. Forget about it. He's definitely fucking racist. So you know what? If he's Italian, if he would grab their asses, that wouldn't make him a rapist, right? But no. Because why? Because he kiss. That's a rapist? Can you explain that to me? Did I miss some? Am I just not like, what was the thing with Pepe Le Pew? Because I'm telling you, I didn't read any of this because I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So what's with Pepe? I
don't know. I heard about it earlier today. Actually, I was talking with a friend of mine and that was brought up, but I'm assuming it's just.
I saw something about the fact that he was a rapist.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't see that, but I can clearly see.
I'm sure anybody that's on the feed right now, I'm going to check into the comments. If you know more, tell me if I'm right about the rapist thing. Meanwhile, again, not to point out the obvious, but, we have, Mr. Cuomo with a halo over his head. And now we have 6 people coming forward saying that he was, quote unquote, inappropriate. While, probably creating smoke screens because of all of the nursing home deaths that he washed his hands of. And that's a whole, so there's always smoke screens. You have to realize, right? When they made the whole world 5G, which is putting radiation through all of us, they did that while the impeachment was going on because people were so sidetracked by the impeachment that they didn't realize that we were being radioactivated while all of this was going on. So every time you see people trying to, especially the media, trying to direct your focus on something else, you should be looking in the other direction because normally something else is going on, And so even with all this bullshit, I mean, what are we going to have a problem with now?
Yeah, it's all about deflection. Everything is about deflection. And you know what? It's coming from both sides too. It's coming from the left and it's coming from the right. So it's pretty crazy. It's not just, you can't just sit there and say, this is one group that is going after it. It's coming from both sides. And that's what makes it even more scary.
Well, because it just keeps making that line bigger and bigger and bigger. That's the whole thing, is that we're supposed to all be, coming together, right? Because now that we have a new regime, we're supposed to be healing. We're supposed to be all of this. It's all the same narrative. Unfortunately, if Paul and Peter don't believe the same things, then there's a problem. And we're in, for as far as I know, we're still in America. I mean, it's questionable at times, but we're supposed to have freedom of speech, freedom of thoughts, freedom of religion. And we're losing all of those things. I spoke about this almost 2 years ago in June. They removed religious exemptions from New York and from California. So that means that if your religious beliefs do not coincide, the government does not allow you to have your own religious beliefs. So they removed that. They took away a primary right that we should have. They took it away. So it all started a while back and nobody was watching because they were using other things as the smokescreen.
Yes.
And like I said, you just keep going, and you'll see there's a much bigger picture.
Oh, there's always a much bigger picture. And that's where, you have to look at, exactly who's saying what and how much truth is involved there. And that's the problem, because you've got two separate sides, just like in politics, that are always going to complain that one part's doing it right, one part's doing it wrong. But what's so scary about cancel culture is that everybody seems to be so focused in on exactly what is going on today. And I'm trying to figure out, as a young child, again, are we promoting racism? Are we teaching these young kids, okay, listen, this is what racism is.
Yeah.
Are you in or are you out?
Yeah.
Are you going to be like this?
You're giving it power. You're giving it attention. You are taking that line and drawing it, just like you just said. If you're not raising a child to see color or to see race or to see bigotry, they won't see it.
Exactly.
That is learned behavior.
Yes. And it comes from parenting at a small age. A lot of people don't realize that you were actually, as a small child, you're brought into this world, and whatever your parents' beliefs are now become your beliefs. And
you were watching the show today, right?
Yes. And a lot of people grow up, and then they tend to make their own decisions. By the time they reach 14, they start thinking to themselves, wow, this is fucked up. How am I thinking this way this whole time?
Right.
And then you start to choose yourself where it is you want to go with. And it comes with all kinds of religion, and that's what's really, really scary, because, I think parents, as much as there's people in the world and you see these things on television and see these things, in the newspaper, you got to think to yourself, wow, that guy's fucked up. He's fucked up because his parents are fucked up. Yeah. And his parents basically have either done to him, either mentally abused him, sexually abused him, or raised him in a state of mind to say, hey, you know what? This is wrong. This is what's right. This is how we've been. And that's why I really tend to really get upset about the whole religious part of the whole culture, the cancel culture, because for me, again, and I don't want to keep on bringing the gay issue in, but it does affect me because I am gay. There are a lot of people out there that, that follow religion, and I find it really, really comical. In 1969, they changed the law where Italians can now, you can eat meat on a Friday, yet my mother chooses not to because she doesn't believe that.
Right.
So she's still, every Friday, I'm not going to eat meat. We were brought up that way, where every single Friday we never ate meat as a child. So that's just one example of, like, I've seen people still to this day that are in their 50s and 60s that refuse to eat meat on Good Friday because they feel like they're going to be somehow punished for it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's part of your background and your upbringing. And for anybody that missed the show this morning, please go back and watch it, because we talked exactly about that, right? What impacted your, guardians or parental, parents have as an impact on your life and who you are. So absolutely. I mean, like I said, we're not born that way. We come out into the world and we look at everyone with equal eyes. I remember I took my son to a school, and he was young. He was probably 5 or 6. And I took him to a school, and it was in, a different area. And most of the children in the school were, you know, a lot of ethnicities, and most of them were not Italian.
Yeah.
And my son never learned from that because I never differentiated between people. And he came to me afterwards when we left and he goes, Mommy, I look very different from, you know, all of those other people there, you know? And I said, well, you have long hair. And, you know, I said, there are, you know, all different people in the world and this, that, and the other. I didn't, you know, make it into anything. It was just, but I had to address it because, Mommy, why do I look different than them? You know, what do? You have to address it, right? And as a parent, you never know the right words because God forbid you use the wrong word and it gets taken out of context.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
you know, I just acknowledged it and didn't make a big deal out of it and kept it moving. But this is the thing, is that everyone's making a fucking big deal out of everything. So how do we keep it moving when we're stuck on fucking stupid? And that's really where we're all. We're stuck on stupid. So now somebody get the tow truck, push stupid out of the way, and let's keep it moving. But I just want to take a second real quick, Ange, and I want to just say hello to there are a lot of people tuned in, and I just want them to know that we appreciate them and that we are here. So Monica's here, JR, Georgie, I'm just going to go through this. Eunice, Bob, thank you so much for sharing. And thank you guys. Hi, Bruno. We got a lot of people tagging. Appreciate that. Lisa G, how are you? Let me see. Trying to just go through. Cheryl, thank you so much, Cheryl. Ricky Rick in the house. Lisa, my girl, how are you? Nuno, I think Nuno's fresh out of jail. What's up, kid? That's the other thing, right? I can't believe it. We got like the fact that we got people in jail on Facebook is just again stuck on stupid. Okay. Yes. We got Jimmy here. Let me see. So let's see. JR said, I have been called a racist and I'm a white Jewish 5'10" lesbian. And my best friend is a man of color. And some had to tell me he was a black guy.
Wow. That is stupid.
Well, again, this is the theme of tonight. Stuck on stupid. Maybe I should put that up.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should put that stuck on stupid.
All right, I will do that. I will put stuck on stupid up in a minute. As soon as I say hi to Jersey, Jimmy, Lizette, what's going on? See, everybody's pissed off. They like their hoops.
Yes.
Hoop, there it is. Hoop, there it is.
Cheryl wears her hoops religiously, so good for her.
You know what? So many people do. Listen, I remember growing up, and that was it. That's when you knew shit was going down because they took the hoop earrings out, took the rings off, the hoop earrings, hold my shit. And then you went. So once the hoop earrings came off, it was on. So they've been wearing them. I was never a hoop person. I used to make fun of girls that wore hoops. I'll say it like it is. You could hate me now. And I used to go, oh, can I jump through those things? Because I mean, they were huge, right? And they were big, and that was the thing. And you know what? To each his own. I, just thought there wasn't a need for such big hoops, but people like their hoops. So I just thought you should jump through them or something because that's what they look like to me. But again, I don't get what the connotation is with hoops. So I don't know if we're going to see some of these comments, but oh, look who's in the house. Joey from Manhattan in the house. We got New York Ties here with us. So Monica said the companies are making people more racist. Yeah, hello. Companies, social media, the media. I think they're the biggest of them all. What do you think, Ange?
The media, or the media is just the devil. The media just sparks so much controversy that people that really don't understand what the clear message is the one that's being fed the most lies because they really, really don't understand the meaning behind what some of this media stuff is doing. And, it's those people that are out there that are spewing nonsense that have clout. that the
Right.
media
And so
attaches itself to.
therefore people listen. That's my thing. See, that's what I don't like. Now I am right here. I'm trying to use my clout and I'm saying, I'm calling it. People are stuck on stupid. I'm calling it. I'm using my influence. And if somebody out there is like, I'm not fucking stupid. Well, yeah, you are if you're fucking stuck right where they have you. So I'm not saying you're stupid, but you're stuck in a stupid place, right?
Yes.
Because you're allowing other people's opinions, other people's agenda to affect your fucking world and our lives.
And it started just with like common people putting things on Facebook and saying, hey, you know what, I've noticed this and I've noticed that. So the media attaches itself to that. So what happens next when the media attaches to it? They start looking for celebrities that want to now jump on these bandwagons. And once the celebrity gets their voice heard, that's when it's just fucking complete next level, right? That's when it's going to become a real issue. So it is really, really difficult.
That is like, to me, the greatest insult. That's the greatest insult. So I got to look at Kim Kardashian's ass to tell me that, you know, Pepe Le Pew is a fucking rapist. I mean, really? I don't really. So, okay, let me get this straight. When they were filming you blowing the guy, that was cool because you were getting paid for that, right?
Yeah. Number one song, by the way. Number one song. Her song went to number one. Sorry. I was thinking about, what is it?
Cardi B?
Cardi B. Yeah.
Right. With her
how ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. And you're worried about a child seeing a African-American person publicized as what they would say a fictional character that is racist, but you're allowed to show a 10, 12-year-old boy or girl this video and say, well, this is okay. And that's what media does. This is what the media does. And it does it in sports.
Well, what is that?
It does it in music.
Is that her freedom of expression?
I would think so, yeah.
She's allowed to have freedom of expression. But when I say they canceled Dr. Seuss, I am not allowed to have that freedom of expression because it's fact-checked. Who fact-checked it, asshole? Einstein?
Yeah.
Who the fuck fact-checked it? The same person that thinks that a wet pussy is supposed to be a fucking I won't even listen to it. My father said to me, Karen, you got to listen to it. My father. And I'm like cringing just when he's telling me the name of it. I'm like, Daddy, ew, like we don't have these conversations. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? You know, awesome. Like, but that's okay.
No, it's fine.
That's okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
I tell somebody to go fuck their mother, I'm wrong. I mean, I don't get it.
Well, we had someone on the show a couple of weeks back when you were talking, and she was in the chat room saying, "Oh, do you have to speak with such vulgarity?" You know, and she was criticizing you for the way that you speak. This is your show. This is real talk, and this is what we're doing. We're real talking, right? You know what I mean? So this is an opportunity for us to push back to all those people that just want to spew nonsense and start stories and, you know, and tell you who you can be with, who you can't be with, who you should surround yourself with, you know, who you should talk to. And it's become really, really bad. Like, I don't know, social media is just to the point where, you know, Facebook isn't enough. You know, people are on Twitter, people are on Instagram, you know what I mean? And it's so sad because, you know, even with patients, you know what I mean? I see it when I drive on the road. This thing happened the other day where I had a car that wanted to get in front of me, and they put on their signal and they went into my lane, and he was half in my lane and half in another lane. And there was barely enough room for a car to go around him, but there was enough space for that car to sit there at the light. So instead of just patiently waiting, the guy that was beside me decided to go around the car, and there was a car coming, and they clipped each other. And I'm thinking, wow, that is so funny, because it's the impatient factor. People are no longer patient whatsoever. They want it now. They want it immediately. They want to talk about it. They want to do things. No one has that patience anymore, and it's because society is running so fast that it's impossible to keep up with.
I have two things to say. The first thing is in regards to that. The issue is like I watch my son we will have the TV on and he'll be watching a show on there, and he'll be on his iPad and he'll be watching a show on there. And I go one thing at a time, and we all do it. We all are watching TV and we're checking Facebook. We're watching TV, we're returning a text. So we are not concentrating on one thing at a time. So we are too busy. Now we need that stimuli constantly because you're programmed now, stimuli. And now all of a sudden just watching TV isn't good enough. So just driving the car isn't good enough. We need that stimuli. That's the first thing. The second thing was in regards to my fucking cursing. Okay. Now, I had somebody that I respect tremendously that said to me, I really want to see you clean up your show because you are good enough to be on primetime, shows. But if you're going to speak that way, then, you're, like you're not doing justice to yourself. Like he was saying to me, they were saying to me, like, well, I have viewers and listeners, but I don't know how they would feel if, they heard you and the way that you speak. Now, I get it. And I know that sometimes I curse more than other times, but my vocabulary, I could walk you around the block with my vocabulary, okay? And I can definitely articulate myself without fucking cursing. But I curse because that's my punctuation. And most people appreciate it because when you want to say something to somebody, there are just certain words that don't cut it. So, I feel that, yes, it is a freedom of, speech. Is it nice to talk like a truck driver? No. Do I try to curse every word out of my mouth and be an animal? No. But I definitely do drive it home. And like you said, it's real talk. And as long as I am, I don't speak to my son's, teachers this way. Yes. I don't, I know there's a time and a place and, this is a show. So obviously I'm going to hit it as hard as I can because, I want to get the most bang for it. And I'm making a point. So you make more of a point when you punctuate better. And my punctuation happens to be cursing. And again, for those people that do not appreciate my language, they don't have to listen to me because I understand if it's offensive to certain people. And I, apologize that they feel that way. But, there are many other people that listen and they appreciate the way that I speak because I'm saying what they want to say.
Yes.
So yeah. I do my best to do that and not look like an idiot in the process, right? I'm not trying to make myself look stupid. I'm not trying to make myself look uneducated. I'm not trying to make myself not look like a lady. But yeah, real talk is real talk. And you have to hit it and you have to hit it hard sometimes. And I don't appreciate people trying to censor me. So this is me. This is my talk show. When people want to come on, I even said it to you. Have you seen my show before? Because I'm not for everybody. I tell people that all the time. Are you sure? Because if you're just coming on because you want to promote yourself or whatever, I'm a certain way. If you can't deal with that, you need to know that right off the bat, because if not, we're going to not have a good rapport going on. Sure. And, that's not going to work. So, it's, what the hell? I don't know. I got this watch thing and things come up on it. I have no idea. It's buzzing me. I don't even know what it's saying to me.
Is it a smart count?
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like, you cursed too many times. You need to shut the fuck up now. That's what it just said to me. No. But yeah, I think that everything has gone too far. That's my opinion. It's all gone too far. The way we speak, the way we read, the way we drive, the way we walk, the way we exercise, the way we think, the way we, comment on social media, our opinions that we post on our own pages on what we think. And people are telling us we are not allowed to think that way. And because we think that way, we are part of the problem.
Yes.
That's the best part. You're
I've
part of.
had people. I've had people actually inbox me and said, "Wow, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect you to post something like that because it doesn't read well, and I'm not sure whether or not you should keep that on your page." So people are taking notice. People notice what other people are doing, but again, like you said, this is real talk. We should be talking the way that we normally talk. I don't know about you, but I find this really, really funny. My mother says to me all the time, "Why do you have to drop the F-bomb all the time?" When I'm in my regular state of just talking to my friends or being around even my mom or, with my husband, whatever, it's like they will always say to me, "Why do you have to swear so much?" Yet I've never ever dropped an F-bomb or even swore once, maybe once or twice on my Freestyle Spotlight Countdown show. I just don't. I speak totally different.
Well, it's not really
I do. And
appropriate for you to do that in that show setting because
yeah,
there's no reason for you to be cursing. You're announcing things. You have people on there. You shouldn't really curse in that. But see how interesting that is? Now, I look at things two ways. So what you just said, how they would message you and say it doesn't read well. So I look at that two ways. First way is like the way that my friend was trying to say to me, I want you to clean up your show a little bit because I want you to appeal to all audiences. I feel that you are, shorting yourself on your audience because you are losing those people by, not, by cursing. So that's one way to look at it. And I appreciate that. The other way to look at it is if in the same regard, is, well, you shouldn't talk like that. It doesn't look right. It doesn't sound right. You're a woman. You shouldn't curse like that. It don't look right. Now you can go fuck yourself because you're not saying that to help me. You're saying that because it bothers you. And I don't really give a fuck if it bothers you. Yeah. But when you're saying it, so when you put up those posts and they say it doesn't read well, maybe if you put up something that might have offended, for instance, your freestyle people.
Oh,
then, no, but I'm just giving you an example.
Right? Yeah, you're about to open a can of worms.
Here we go. See how good I am at this? Then I would say, okay, because that maybe that person is just looking out and saying, look, I don't want you to, you're opening up a can of worms. There's going to be repercussions for this. Please I posted something like this and this was the response I got from it. I'm just letting you know because I don't want it to reflect badly on you. I'm just looking out for you. That is different. And that I appreciate.
Yes.
There have been plenty of times I've seen people post, they're drunk and they post some crazy ass shit on their Facebook pages. And you're reading it and you're like, wow. And you're thinking like, I really like this person. Do I message them and say, maybe you should take that down? But people are going to be who they're going to be. If it's your best friend and you have the capability of doing that, damage control, then I believe you should. But if not, then sometimes you just got to mind your business.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever, because this happens to me quite a lot, have you ever posted something or wanted to write something and then before you click send, you think to yourself, no, this is going to open up a can of worms and I'm better off not posting it? Because that's how I feel sometimes. I feel like when I really want to talk about what I want to say, it's like my mother always says to me, you know what, think about what you want to say first and then write it down. And then if you still feel that way, or if you still have that anger, then, you gotta release it at some point, right? But I always find that I try to find the positive in everything, right? So when I do post something, I feel like it's coming directly from the heart, and I feel like I'm not really trying to say something negative about somebody. But when someone inboxes you privately and says, wow, why did you post that? I don't think you should have posted that. That's exactly what this whole culture is all about, like this canceling culture. People are trying to say, hey, you know what, I don't like what you're doing, or I don't like this, so I'm going to make myself, I'm going to speak my mind about it, and that's how the snowball starts to happen, and that's where cancel culture comes from, because everybody has an opinion about somebody else, but they don't want to hear the opinion about themselves. And I know that I'm flawed. Don't get me wrong. I know that I am flawed, but I try to still every day try to, be a good person, and try to help other people out and stuff like that. But it doesn't matter what you do or you say. There's always going to be that one person that is always going to talk negative about
You're
you.
lucky if it's only one, Ange.
Yeah, exactly. And trust me, there are a lot of people out there, especially in music. For me, it's very, very different. I don't have it in my personal life, but I find that sometimes, the genre which with what I'm in as in freestyle, there's so much
Drama, I know.
it is.
Well,
It's a lot. And a lot of what cancel culture is the same thing what it is in freestyle today. There are people that I know that I've been friends for a long time that really don't communicate with me because they are in a different circle, and the social pressures that they get in that social circle doesn't allow them to communicate with other people. And I find that to be quite funny. I find that to be quite funny. And that's where I said to you, well, you're going to open up a can of worms if you start talking about these type of things, because there's so many times where I've had some quiet conversations with some people that I really do trust, and we look at what's going on within music and the social and how social media puts a lot of pressure on people to actually do things or say things that they know could or couldn't get them in trouble. So they try to stay neutral, if that's the best way that I can say it.
Well, I think that the best thing to do is always to try to stay as neutral as possible. I try to be as neutral as possible, especially on my show and in life as well, but certainly on my show, because there are so many different people that are watching. And the last thing I want to do is turn any one person off, because I always look at things very well rounded. So in response to the question that you asked, you said, do you ever want to post something that's on your mind, and you want to put it up, and then it's like the text, right? You got this whole thing, like, I'll write it in my notes to make sure I got the wording right and everything.
Yep.
And then you're like, do I send it? Do I not send it? So I'm going to say that I love your mother's advice, because that's what I try to do. Even on my show, I can't talk about a topic until I've made peace with it. Because if I bring something up while I'm in it, I'm not going to be objective. I'm not going to be neutral. And I'm going to be very one-sided on it. So, and again, probably like you said, not really finding the positive of the subject. So I try my best when I'm in that place not to mess with any of that. Try not to text, try not to post, because listen, after I told you, I don't, you watch the show a lot, sometimes I behave myself, and then other times I got a couple of drinks in me, and not everybody, but the people that have been, underneath me, they get those texts that made a lot of sense in my own head, but did not make any sense to them. And, we because like she said, you have to release it. So you have to release, but a release is supposed to be a positive, cathartic thing. So you can't release by shitting on other people. So that's the or dumping on other people. You have to release it in a manner in which you are ready to let it go. When you're posting like that or you're texting like that, you're not ready to let it go. You're ready to fucking punch
Yeah.
him in the face with it. You're looking
Yeah.
to jab him. You're looking to go, here, feel what I'm feeling right now. And again, that's what you were saying, right? I try to see the positive in things. When you want somebody to feel what you're feeling, there's no positive in you. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Feel this right now, because this is what I'm feeling right now. So you think you feel this right now.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to get out of your own head before you do something like that, because social media, once it's out there, it's out there. Once you send that text, you can't unsend it. Once you post that on social media, sure, you can delete it. But if you have enough haters, I guarantee you there's 5,700 screenshots of it.
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
they're guaranteed, and that's the whole thing. Interesting comment from Jersey Jimmy, saying that everybody's turning into a little softy. Get the fuck out of here. I say what I want to say. You don't like it, too fucking bad. Everybody's got to be proper by ask. And you know what? I support what he's saying, because there are people that just need to get it out and they need to vent, and they're like, if you got a fucking problem, just go ahead and say it and spit it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
that's me.
but for me, it's never brought back anything positive for me. It just continues to snowball the negative. That is what this topic is all about. You know what I mean? Is it good for Jimmy to say that? Sure, why not? You know what? If that's who you are, then I support it, and that's the way it is. You know what I mean? For me, I have a hard time doing that. There's times where I know that I could just unleash and I can ramble for like an hour straight and just name drop and thrash people, because if they don't think that I see it, I see it. I know what's going on in freestyle, and I see who are the ones that are creating the issues, who's starting all the drama, what clique is actually in favor of doing things that are positive, and those that believe that they're running what it should be, when actuality, a lot of them are what's bringing cancer into it. And I could start naming people, I could start throwing people under the bus, and I could start talking about all kinds of crazy shit, because I'll say this again. If you don't think so, you don't know, because I know everything that is going on social media with my CFMAM brand, with my Freestyle Spotlight Countdown, and I know for a fact that I can honestly sit here and tell you that if I really wanted to, I could create a huge uproar within the community by just simply saying what I want to say.
Of course.
And I choose not to. And if that makes me a pussy, then you know what? Fuck you. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be who I am.
I don't think it makes, and this is the difference, right? Is that these words get thrown around a lot. It makes you, again, in my opinion, it makes you neutral. Because for that matter, who the fuck are you to start trouble? So I'll counter that. So you're a pussy, or maybe you're a troublemaker now. So which one is it, right? So it depends on how you look at it. You're never going to be right in anybody's eyes. So you have to do what works for you. So I guess, like Jimmy was saying, I got to say what I got to say, and I'm good. And and that's, like you said, that's how he deals with it, right? And he may be viewed as a troublemaker, and you choose to stay quiet, and you may be viewed as a pussy. Doesn't make Jimmy right, and doesn't make you right. It doesn't make anybody right. It doesn't make, then it's like, okay, I'm a troublemaker and I'm a pussy. Okay, great. Let's move forward. What's next? So I mean, to me, you know what? People say that all the time. Like, you want to say, like, from it's like me, I hear different things, oh, well, you shouldn't let people get away with that, or you shouldn't this, you shouldn't that. I don't give a fuck. I see what you're doing. I know what you're all about. Let me tell you something. I got more stuff on this phone right here that could fuck so many people.
I've got screenshots that will fucking terminate friendships on Facebook.
Listen, friendships, businesses, marriages, you name it. Okay. Because people show their true colors, and I just like to keep people in check. So I will never, ever, ever use anything that anybody says to me. Whatever you say to me is in confidence. If I never speak to you again, I don't talk your business. Not my style. But don't fuck with me. Because now if you fuck with me and you try to make me look like I'm the fucking asshole, you're going to see a whole nother side to me that, you thought I wasn't capable of. And trust me when I tell you, we all can do that, right? And just like in the same way, I'm sure there are plenty of people. I mean, not that I have that much, dirt, but I mean, everybody's got skeletons in their closet. And a lot of people don't own their skeletons. I know most of my skeletons. So, if you got a lot of things to hide, then you really need to check yourself, First, I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much, Angelo, for coming on the show again. I want to say thank you to everybody that is tuning in to Real Talk with Karen Stacy. We are live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. We are live on the Karen Stacy public page. If you see my topic here and you see the logo there, that is the public page. So make sure you go ahead and like and follow that page. We also have the Real Talk Coffee Talk group. Make sure you join that group. And then we are on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope as well. Real Talk Karen Stacy. So jump on there and make sure that you subscribe to all of them. Please, thank you for those of you that have shared. We appreciate it. Sharing is caring. Share out the video. Tag all your friends. I am a little behind on the comments because we are yip yapping. So I'm just going to quickly, I don't even know if these people are still with me.
Oh, there's a lot of people in there and they're making some really, really good comments.
And
Go ahead.
I'm going to try to, let me just get to, get somewhere because I'm so far behind. So Jacka is on and I want to say hello to her. Hoop earrings are originally from Nubia, Africa. Mikey said they also are taking out Speedy Gonzalez for being Mexican.
And apparently he's French. He's not Italian. Apparently he is French.
Yes, he is. Pepe Le Pew. That's right. He's not Italian.
Yes, so he is.
Oh, right. And then Greece. Georgie, right. Greece was accused of being rapey. That's a whole new level of stupid. Yep. Stuck on stupid. Told you.
Yep.
So yeah. Oh, Cliff is here. Hey, Cliff. Okay, so somebody said I didn't always sleep through social studies, the gold hoop earrings. That's so funny. I don't see that person's name. Oh, it's Emily. Okay. What about taking the Pledge of Allegiance out of the school system? You're in America. Yeah, that's another way to go. Let me see. Some people are closed-minded, which is sad. Okay. Everybody should respect each other. Monica, even Disney Plus is feeding on the racism thing. Today, they stopped letting children 7 and under watch certain movies. Oh my God. Okay.
It's bad. It's really, really bad.
Yeah. Nuno, stuck on stupid. Debbie, how are you? Rita, how are you? Ray, how are you? Your new bitch. Oh, that's so funny. Ray, you're the best. Yeah, no, he was on one of the shows and he said he felt like a bitch because so he thought there was only women on. And I was like, no, that's not the case. Okay, Rita M. My mom took me to a daycare in the Bronx on Macomb Avenue, and I came home crying because I said I wanted to be a Puerto Rican, and my mom pulled me out and out of there. But guess what? I married a Puerto Rican. That's funny. See that? Let me see. It's the same in Europe. All right. Let me see. Okay, I'm just trying to go through really. She doesn't cook or clean, but her pussy is wet. I can't. I'm just throwing up from that. Is that one of the lines in the song?
I would think so. Yeah. I guess I don't know. I stopped listening after the first 45 seconds. I'm like, why even release something like this?
I can't do that. And let me see. So true, Angelo. Wonder every day, how did this ass get a license? Oh, maybe with the driving, because I'm so far behind.
Yes.
On the comments here. I know. I just didn't want anybody to think I forgot about them. It is a little difficult for me, you guys, when I have a guest. Thank you, Brenda. To see all of the comments. Eunice, I cursed to my mom I cursed to my mom, never teach me like that, but that me, I talk like that. If people don't like to, well, too bad. There you go. What is that? It's not a smartwatch. It's a stupid watch. Yeah, I know, right? JR, I appreciate you, Karen and Angelo. And if people are insulted, turn off your radio. Karen, you're awesome. And you are other people's voices. Keep up the good work. You are a breath of fresh air. I love you, JR. Thank you. Somebody said brat bastard. Okay. If nobody likes the way either talk or act, then they should remove themselves immediately. Absolutely. Wait. What about a man who, like, when a woman speaks her mind and that it's so sexy when a woman swears like a sailor? Well, you know what? Look, there are certain people who hear my accent and they want to shoot themselves in the head. And then there are other people that want to marry me. So, it's all good.
Ray made an earlier comment that said everybody just needs to smoke a little bit of weed and slow the fuck down.
I saw that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I agree with that. You know what? Nothing is better than a nice little relaxing night on the couch with either a little bit of weed or maybe a little scotch with some honey in it. So,
Nice.
you know what? Everybody's got their own flavor of what they want to do.
Yeah, somebody said being a good person and using bad language has zero relevance. There you go. That's very true. Let me see. I'm really behind on the comments. I caught up. Hold on. I'm almost here. Jersey Jimmy. Okay. That's what okay. He said, everybody's turning into a little softy. Get the fuck out of here. I say what I want to say. You don't like it, too fucking bad. Everybody got to be proper my ass. And you know what? I will say to that as well. Like I said, right? Everybody has their own way of doing things. Now, that mentality is also what keeps people in check to a certain degree. So, like, for instance, my late husband was not a big guy at all. And, but he didn't take shit from nobody. And so, for instance, they used to zoom the motorcycles up and down. I have a golf course right behind me, and they would zoom the motorcycles up and down. And my husband went to bed at a decent time because he had to be up for work at 5 o'clock in the morning. So he's hearing all this noise. He's like, fuck that. He's opening the window. Shut the fuck up. He's screaming out the window. I'm going, oh my God, would you stop? You can't do that. They're going to fucking come and kill us. He's like, I don't give a fuck. So now they don't shut up. He gets up, gets and goes in the car to go drive over. He doesn't even close the door. He's driving around. And I'm like, would you get over here? What are you doing? They could be in a gang. They could have guns. They're going to fucking kill you. And I don't give a fuck. And he goes and whatever. And then he comes back, goes in the house and goes to sleep. And he goes, that's the reason why people's neighborhoods get taken over, because people don't open up their fucking mouths. You got to open up your mouth and you got to, fight for what's yours. People are too afraid. And so again, going back to what Jimmy said, so it's, and I don't constitute your take on it or your way to be afraid. You just look at it differently. So everybody, we are entitled to do that. And some people know that, right? And we always have those friends that are the first ones that'll bite your fucking head off. Mm-hmm. And that's good. Again, we talked about this earlier today. Good cop, bad cop. That's where you have to kind of sometimes have that balance, right? So if you are the way you are, then it would be nice to have a person in your life that is the way Jimmy is, so that it can counterbalance one another. Because when somebody goes off the deep end because Jimmy just told them where to go and how to get there, you are the quote unquote level-headed one that will, so everybody has their role, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And not all of us are confrontational. Some of us don't want to be the person that has to say something. For me personally, you know what? If you push me to the point where I have to tell you something like that, in my opinion, I don't need you around me, because you pushed me to a point that I will not allow myself to go, because the next point I see red and now I have no control over what comes out of my mouth and what I do when I get my fucking hands on you, my mouth on you. I'm done. And then you can't come back from that. That's bad.
I see your point.
So
yeah, I know. I do see your point, and I could be like that at times too. Don't make it sound like maybe I made myself sound like I'm a little bit too passive because I'm always worried about the negative side of what my words are going to say. But there are some times, like I've had some real good conversations with some people where I've had to just unleash and kind of say exactly what I feel and stuff like that. I just for some reason always felt like I'm not that type of person that's going to put it out on social media. I just don't see the benefits of putting it out on social media. But I'm never going to say that someone needs to be muted. And if they want to say what they want to say, go ahead and say it. And Nuno made a really, really good comment. And I tried looking for it, but I think it went along the lines of, if you're going to say something, say it, but you need to be prepared about what the response is going to be.
Absolutely. Well, that's my whole point, is that's what I was saying earlier, right? I said, if you're going to put it out there, you got to be ready, because you're going to have the people that are going to support it and you're going to have the people that are going to go against it, right? So you have to, once you put it out there, you got to be able to back it up.
Exactly.
So somebody wrote, I don't think speaking your truth from your heart makes you a pussy or a troublemaker. It's called freedom of speech, and that's what is being taken away from us. I agree. I don't think that either. I was just using an example that, people would perceive someone like that Jersey Jimmy who was saying he would speak his mind as a troublemaker, and people would perceive someone like Angelo as a pussy because he wasn't, confrontational. So that's what I mean. And yes, that's society does do that. I don't label people. I don't judge people. I try to find the balance between all of those things, but we don't have a lot of balance anymore in the world. That's what Nuno, I see it right now. Everyone has the right to their opinion, but get ready to take the response. Yep. And that's definitely agreed. Susie, excuse me, if people would mind their own business, life would be so much happier. Susie, real talk. I said that too. I said that. How many times have I said that on my show? I'm like, mind your fucking business. Absolutely true. Rosie, people will instigate, but when you retaliate, they don't like it. Absolutely. JR, listening to tonight's show, I have a whole new respect. Thank you for being the people you are. Oh, JR, thank you so much. And that is the whole reason that I try to do my show, is so that people do look at things a little bit differently. And I'm not saying the way I look at them is right or wrong. I'm just showing you another way to perceive something. And it's very nice to have another person so that we can both go, and we both perceive things differently. And I am definitely, very vocal. And again, the questions you're asking, so to speak, like the things we're talking about, a lot of people don't have it, right? So I learned this raising my son. We have to teach our children the dialogue. And sometimes as adults, we need to learn the dialogue too. Sometimes you need a friend or a family member to say, well, how many times you say something's up and you're talking to somebody and you go, well, I'm not really sure how, I should deal with this. And they'll tell you, well, maybe you should, say blah, 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 blah. That's the dialogue. Sometimes we can't come up with our own dialogue because we're so, emotionally involved in it that we can't think, clearly. And sometimes just hearing a different perspective will snap you into something. And all of a sudden you'll be like, I didn't even see it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see your point there. I can see your point. You have to kind of learn from it and put yourself in really both spots, right? Like Nuno just made a really, really cool point where it says, being in the music industry, I take a lot, but I'm learning how to react to situations. I feel like I'm in that exact same bubble because I have CFMAM Productions and I have 6 DJs, because I work for Extreme Mix Radio and I have a Freestyle Spotlight Countdown that interacts with a lot of people and a lot of artists, I feel like sometimes I just have to stay muted, because if I say something, I'm going to piss somebody off. And then how is that going to relate to CFMAM Productions? Is it going to help my DJs get drops from these artists? Are they going to unfriend me? Are they not going to talk to me because I'm being truthful about what I see and what I hear? And then the Extreme Mix Radio with the Freestyle Spotlight Countdown, people get upset because you make decisions and you say things. And I've done things that can prove that, over a short period of time. I put out my top 20 from 20 of 2020, and within minutes I get inbox about, oh, I can't believe that I've been left off this list. You know what I mean? People watch what you're doing, and the second that you do something, they're in your inbox and they're telling you that they're not happy about it. So that's why I choose sometimes to say, hey, you know what? Am I going to open up a can of worms? Or am I not going to open up a can of worms? And it doesn't make me right or wrong. It just puts me in that position where sometimes you just got to say to yourself, keeping your mouth shut is probably the best thing to do. But I really, really do respect Jimmy for the fact that if he feels that he wants to say something, he's just going to go out and say it. And you know what? He's ready for the response. You know what I mean? And he'll deal with that response when it happens. I just feel like there's other people that are in play with me that I need to take into consideration before I start running my mouth and talking all kinds of, crazy shit about things that I know that people don't want to talk about.
Right.
And that's the hardest part.
And again, right, we have no control over anything or anyone. The only thing we have control over is our reactions. So I always say that. And, that's the reason why I try not to let people, I try to think before I speak, because sometimes when someone pushes you to a point, you no longer, when you're pushed to a certain point, you no longer have control over your own actions. That's when there's a problem. So that's when you have to learn how to check yourself, because the minute somebody pushes you to that point, now you've lost yourself and they've won, because now you're reacting with, against your grain. So you always have to be responsible for your, for every action, there's a reaction, right?
Yes. So I'll give you a little bit of something. I'll give you something. I spoke with someone who I truly, truly respect in the business. And their advice to me was, keep your ears and your eyes open and keep your mouth shut. And, that kind of works for me, because I will tell you this. If there are people that are in the business that are talking shit about you, that are posting shit about you, it's because you're doing the right thing and it's putting pressure on them. And when you have them right here and you're in between their head, you're inside their head, you know that what you're doing is the right thing. And sometimes it's just better to keep yourself quiet and just continue to think and do the things that you're doing, instead of retaliating or, blowing shit up even further, then it has to go. And that's the way that I look at it.
Success is the greatest revenge.
Yeah.
Let me, I just want to get to some more of the comments. So Susie said, we have the right to respect people, but we don't have to accept it. Either way, either we stay or walk away. Don't need all the drama. I agree with that. I am a drama-free person. Let me see here. So Georgie said, take away the drama and freestyle conquers the world. Simple as that.
Gotta love Georgie from Ireland.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I lost some of the comments, so bear with me so I can get back to it. Wow, was I that far behind on the comments?
There are so many comments here, and there's a lot of great comments here. And,
all right, wait, I'm almost there though.
Yeah,
okay, Miss Piggy is on the chopping block now. Totally understand you are not reading all the comments, Karen. Oh, thank you, Monica. Your accent is dope. You're so funny. All right. Oh, Emily, I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't see your name, honey. Do you know the old saying about women who wear hoops? No, I don't.
I don't know either.
The bigger the hoop, the bigger the hoe. Oh my God. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
We should never
go ahead.
We should never be afraid in our own neighborhood. If you don't live here or invited, you don't belong here. Okay, that was in response to my husband's craziness. So Jersey Jimmy said, absolutely, Karen, and someone brings the nastiness out of me, it's time to let him go, because that means you dug deep. There you go. Hi, Laura. Good evening, Felmar. Good evening. Georgie said, your average typical Irish woman swears like there's no tomorrow. This is a home from home for me, and anyone accuses me of being racist against the Irish, ask me where I'm from. Yes, you are in Ireland, right? Karen Stacy, the hoops hold their toes up to their ears for better access. So I've heard. Oh my God, she's a sick bitch, this one. It's hysterical. All right, Jersey Jimmy, absolutely. That's what I teach my son. Stand your ground, but you better be prepared for the worst. Exactly.
Yeah.
Real friends always have your back in public and set your ass straight in private. Real talk. I'm less than or not enough. I have a problem. That was a different show, Law. Jersey Jimmy, I'm not a troublemaker, Karen. I dare you. I just don't take no shit from no one. You going there? You bringing it? Ray said I'm a pussy, but only because I am what I eat.
He needs to hook up with that with the hoop girls with the one that you said earlier today.
Rosie?
Yeah, I've never heard of anybody using those hoops as feet support for having sex. That's really unique. That's interesting.
All right.
Yeah.
Nuno said, yeah, being in the music business, I take a lot, but learning how to react to the situation, right? That's what you said. All right, Emily, I see you now because you jumped on Twitch. Rita M said, but you don't have to react every time. Silence speaks louder than words. This is true as well. Emily, I see you, baby girl. Susie, you are exactly right. Silence speaks louder than words. It's not worth the drama. Well, no reaction, no response is a response. So sometimes, you know what? To me, it's a lot harder not to respond and to shut my mouth than it is to fucking go off. It really is harder for me, but you don't get anywhere. You don't always get somewhere going off on the response. So you have to know your audience. So for somebody like me, if you don't respond and you do the silence to me, you lose me. If you respond to me and actually tell me what you're feeling, you got me. But I deal with people that I know. I'm purposely, when my phone has 800 messages on it right now. You know how much it bothers me that I'm anal. I have to answer the messages. That's just what I do because I think it's disrespectful and I'm anal. Like you have to do it. I got OCD with that, right? And there are people that I literally have to say to myself, do not answer that text. You are not responding. You are not responding. And especially there are a lot of people that'll text you something and it's not a question. So it's not open-ended. So technically you're not going to respond to it, right? I hope you are well. That's not a question. So there's no response to that, right? So the people that, there are certain people that will respond back and say, thank you. And then there are other people that won't respond at all because it wasn't an open-ended conversation, right? So I do agree with that. Silence definitely speaks louder than words, but you have to know your audience because for me personally, the more silent you are with me, the further away I'm going to go. And that's just me. But some people you have to deal with that way.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're teaching them a lesson by ignoring them, which is like 12-year-old baby bullshit.
Yeah. I know myself that, who's in my corner, who's not in my corner, based on social structure on Facebook within the music industry. And you know what is cool? You know what I mean? Like if you want to be a friend of mine, but you don't want to speak to me because you're worried about what the other clique is going to be concerned with, then you know what? I'm not going to put too much thought into that. You know, I know who supports me
Isn't that
and
funny?
who's there for me
Isn't
when
that
I need
funny
them.
though?
It is.
Isn't that funny?
It's incredible because I've said this to you before. I have so many friends on Facebook, and I would say at least a quarter of the people that I'm friends with on Facebook, I don't even interact with because I know that they roll in a different clique than I do on Facebook. And sometimes, you know, I see it. They don't want to engage, or they don't want to have discussions because they're either afraid that it's going to upset someone else on the other side, or you're just not in the same circle as they are. So there's all these little circles within
Or
Facebook.
it can't be public knowledge that
Exactly.
they follow you, because if you're not part of that clique,
Yeah.
then they can't be. I have so many people that fall into that category. My shows, I used to have, I can't even tell you how many views I always had. And I think that people have been, told that they had, it's like it's either they're told it or it's an unspoken thing. Like, just like what you said, it's like when you were in high school and there was the cliques. And if you were a cool kid and you talked to one of the not so cool kids, the cool kids didn't want to talk to you anymore. And to me, that's bullshit. I'll talk to whoever the fuck I want to talk to, and I'm cool, and I'm going to show you how cool I am because I'm going to talk to the geek. So there are a lot of people that will watch you in silence, that will support you, quote unquote, but not even support you, that will watch you, and they will watch you in silence because they still want to know what you're up to. They still want to know about your show. They still want to know about things, but they don't want anybody else to know that they know or want to know. And that's really very, very interesting to me.
It is. It is.
Very interesting. I would never, ever, I don't make people make choices between me and somebody else. Even my moderators, I don't tell them that they can't share other people's things. A lot of other moderators are not supposed to share other people's posts. I mean, depending on the group, they're not supposed to share other people's things because it's only supposed to be that. Now, can it be confusing? Yes. If my moderators are sharing everybody else's stuff and somebody goes on their page and they don't really ever see a Karen Stacy thing because they only see everybody else's stuff, okay, a bit much, but it's none of my business. It's their page and they're going to do what they're going to do, but yeah, I mean, it's so territorial. My listeners, they're not your listeners. They're our listeners.
Yes.
Because everybody's listening to the same fucking things because it's a clique. And it's either what clique are you with and what are you allowed to watch and what aren't you allowed to watch, which, again, ridiculous. Let me just read some more of the comments because I'm almost down to the bottom, but I just don't want people to think I'm not paying attention. Jersey Jimmy said, on a business point, sometimes you have to bite your tongue because that's your bread and butter. Ray said, if people turn their back on you because you speak your mind or the truth, then they didn't belong there in the first place. Agreed. Susie said, you are exactly right. Silence speaks louder than words. It's not worth the drama. Nuno, I've learned to blank things and put out my music. Well, you got to stay focused. Emily, if it's not morally wrong, life-threatening, or permanently damaging, I say exactly what I feel. Rosie said, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Absolutely, you sick chick. I love
that. I love that.
She's so funny. Let me see. Where else am I here? Okay. Unfortunately, people try to belittle others for their own self-confidence. Yes, Susie. And that speaks volumes about people, because if you're going to look better, if I'm going to talk, if the only way I'm going to look good is if I talk bad about someone else, you got 1-800 problems. You know what I'm saying? I always say this, wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody just supported everybody? Right? I mean, it's a crazy concept, but if we all are if we all have similar audiences, then why wouldn't we all just get along? And why wouldn't we all just share each other's things and support one another? Come on each other's shows, try to, help promote whatever the case may be. Jump on, jump off if you can't stay on. But people, stink. But okay, Jimmy said, that's in any business. That's the number one rule. Keep your eyes open, ears open, and your mouth shut. Susie said, being in the music industry, you need to have thick skin.
Oh, yeah.
So Susie said, to me, if it's not worth it, then I don't respond. If nothing is to come of it, not worth it. I agree. Rosie said, you make her laugh. Let me see. Okay. Karen, can you see me? I don't see your name, so I'm not sure who that is. Let me see. I've always kept it real with you, Nuno said to you. I support all artists, no sides for me, but unfortunately there are sides still. Very childish in my opinion. I agree. Okay, Gina agrees. Okay, Jimmy, I've been asked so many times to be a moderator for so many different pages. No, I'm good. I support everybody. If I can't support everybody, then I can't help you. Georgie said, over here in Europe, there are no bosses and there are no lanes, and we are all the better for it. Freestyle is small and dividing it into smaller cliques. It is commercial stupidity on a whole new level. It's supposed to be the other way around. Oh, hi, Maria. Yeah, I can't see you, but I see your name there. What is it? It is unit. In unity, their strength. Yeah. So you know what? And I talked about this. Did I talk about this yesterday on the show or today on the show? Right? I said, no, I talked about this yesterday on the show. It is very difficult. Like we were talking about women, right? Because it was National Women's Day. And I was saying how in this business in particular, it is not easy being a woman because this is a man's, world. And any woman that is in this industry, has to pay their dues and is not always respected, and so on and so forth. They have to fight even harder to make their place. So, unfortunately, in every business, there's a hierarchy. I think that's kind of what we're talking about with everything. There's a hierarchy. There's, people that, believe what they believe, and they believe you should believe what they believe. And I believe that you should believe whatever the hell you want to. So I guess you're right, Angelo. Canceling culture is definitely, I think we could talk about this for like another 6 hours.
It can go in so many directions. It applies with everything in life. And, some people are going to shit on things and some people are not. And, it's to each his own when it comes to canceling culture. I think people should just, do what they feel is natural for them and don't really take too much upon themselves of what other people are saying and what other people are doing. And because it does affect a lot of people. It does affect a lot of people. If you have a belief and you believe in something, then go ahead and believe in that. But what I don't like is when people push their beliefs on other people. If you want to be religious, be religious. You know what I mean? I don't need you to tell me that I need to be religious. If you're, on the left or you're on the right and you choose to be on the left or the right, go ahead and be on the left and the right, because anything that you say to me or anything that you want to do or show me or prove to me is going to fall on deaf ears because I'm not, I don't have the same beliefs as you. And I think that's what it is. If you stick to what your beliefs are, you'll be okay. Because
right.
If you start worrying about what other people are saying and looking at yourself through other people's eyes, that's when you start to really doubt yourself.
Well, it's always good to look at yourself through other people's eyes to check yourself. But again, as I always say, We have to agree to disagree. And again, we are in America, and this division is just getting greater and greater and greater. And the fact that we are all supposed to think, uniformly about things is, blasphemy. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I agree with you. Believe in what you believe in. The problem is that a lot of people are followers. They're not sure what they believe in. They can be easily swayed, perhaps.
Yep.
And this is where the problems arise. Now, again, I always say, check yourself. So, somebody said, thank you for, JR said, thank you, for showing me a different perspective. So thank you. It's all good to look at things in another perspective so that I can turn around and say, you know what, Ange, I could see what you mean by that. Not how I feel, but I get it. I see what you mean. Okay, I get that. And that's what makes us who we are. But when we are so busy being divided, and again, I think this is my saying of the day, stuck on stupid. People are stuck on stupid. Get out of the stop being stuck on stupid. Think for yourself. Do the research. I say it all the time. We have the internet. You can find anything out you need to, but make sure when you're researching it, you're not one-sided researching it. I use the example of vaccines, for instance. You can look on a page that is from the CDC and the government, and they tell you that everything, there's no issues with the vaccines whatsoever. And then you can look on another page that will show you all of the people that were vaccine injured. So is one going to be far to this end and one going to be far to that end? Yeah. So you want to find something somewhere in the middle where you see both sides of it. And you need to, if you're going to read one, you got to read the other, because you can't have a one-sided opinion, because now where did that come from? There's nothing to base it on. So yes, I know it's supposed to be based on science, but where did the science come from? And let's face it, there's a lot of things. Look at a lot, like this is a live show. If this wasn't a live show, we would be doing the show and it would be edited. Why? Because whatever little glips or glaps that happen, if this part was boring, we would have edited that. If I was, wiping my nose, we would edit that, right? So that what you're looking at isn't raw and it's not everything compiled, it's the finished product.
Yes.
So you have to look at everything that makes it become what it is. So that's what I mean by stuck on stupid. Do your fucking research and don't listen to everybody. I don't care. People told me things left, right, and center. Okay. Let me get back to you on that.
Fact checking. You need to fact check.
That's the whole thing. Wait a second. I got fact checked on my Dr. Seuss thing and I got flagged from Facebook and from Instagram. Now, do I believe the fact check is from Facebook and Instagram? No. So fuck you. So fact check means you need to know that those are facts.
Exactly.
And so you need to, again, take it from where it comes from. Know where it comes from.
Yeah. And what we're doing over here is actually called active listening. There's two different ways of doing things. You can be working on something and having something in the background and you're just listening, but you're really not paying attention. But when you do stuff like this and it's live and you have people that are making comments, this is active listening. And this is where you really start to engage people and people really start to think about what we're saying. And they have to make a decision on whether or not they believe that what we're saying is relevant or is something that they agree to or they disagree to. And that's the best part about the active listening part, because it makes you engage. And that's what I like about active listening.
No, I agree with you 100%. And that's what I always try to do, is open up the dialogue. So I want to say thank you, Angelo. I think this was a great topic. Like I said, I think this is probably something we could always pick up again because it's changing by the moment. And there's a good billion layers to it. But I think everybody is on their last legs here. But I want to say thank you to you for the fabulous topic and conversation and active listening. I want to say thank you to all of our listeners out there that have commented and participated in the show, because we value each and every one of you and we appreciate them. If I didn't read all the comments, please forgive me. It's not as easy to do when we are trying to, kind of talk together. I don't want to not pay attention to Angelo because I'm reading your comments. So we love you, each and every one of you. We thank you. Don't forget to Angelo's shows on Sundays, right? Tell everybody where they find you.
So the Freestyle Spotlight Countdown is on Sundays from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the Freestyle Radio. You can come in. We have an amazing chat group, lots of fun in there. So that's where I am on Sundays. Just a little promo shot here too. We have a brand new mix from CFMAM that's going to be played on TFR on March the 18th. It's a new school freestyle and dance by DJ Noel Nice. I'm hoping that everybody can come in and give us some support. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight. And there was a lot of kind words for me in the chat box, and I want to say thank you to all of these people, and of course to yourself for having me. And I watch your show like every morning, and even sometimes I don't do the active listening because I multitask because I have so much on my plate. But I always make sure to tune into you because I think you are very, very positive. And I think what you do is you really get people to open up their mind and really, think about what's going on in life and how people react to different things. And I think your show is phenomenal. It's a great concept. Yes, I think you can become, a huge spokesperson for positive things in the world. And, you have such a great audience of people that, are in here. And I've met so many people through the first time that I did the show. And I can honestly say that anytime that you'd like for me to be here, you've got me. And I am a true Karen fan.
So you know what? I am humbled.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, gosh. Thank you, Angelo. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. That, like I said, I certainly, how hard this is, and we ain't getting a paycheck for doing it. So, I'm doing it with I keep my eye on the prize. And I hope to, make an impact and help others, because if, God forbid, I died tomorrow, I'd like to know that I made a difference. So, I thank you. And I did get to check you out one Sunday when my father didn't come over. You saw I was in the chat, which was really
I did
cool.
see you.
I was in there for a minute. That was the only Sunday my father didn't come over. I think we had snow or something. So I was able to jump in there, and that was a fun show too. So don't forget to check out Angelo as well. So thank you again, Angelo, for joining me tonight. You are a sweetheart. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in to Real Talk with Karen Stacy. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Coffee Talk with Karen at 11 a.m. Bye, guys.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.